Okay, the last part for today is the measurement for the handrailing and balustrading. So under measurement for handrailing and balustrading, before we move to further detail, I would like everyone to take note on the information of the terminology. Okay, you need to know that this is the baluster. There are few material that can be made from the baluster. Okay, baluster is referring to one vertical component below the handrail, and then the term balustrade, also, the term balustrade is actually a series of baluster. Series of baluster, we call this one as balustrade. And then under SMM, the word balustrade must be clearly explained as horizontal or vertical balustrade. For example, you can see here the entrance of your balustrade, normally known as the newel post. So this one is clearly stated as newel post. This is the intermediate vertical baluster, and then this is the bottom railing or bottom baluster. Some people put this one as bottom rail, some people put this one as bottom baluster. Okay, top rail here is referring to handrail. So handrail in SMM, you have to measure separately. If you look at this, one, this is the example where you can see the balustrade are actually similar. So you don't have any isolated, you don't have you don't see the different. Everything is similar. But this one, this is smaller. Okay. Next one, in terms of the word newel, this is what I did mention at the entrance. Normally you can see the column at the entrance of the staircase in the bigger sizes. Okay, when they have bigger size, that is known as newel. Vertical post at the end and at the entrance of the string, or at the end or the entrance of the staircase itself, to support the inclined handrail at the each end. At the each end means at the each entrance, either here or either the last part. Okay, so that is newel post that you have to measure separately as well. We have to check the material as well, yeah. And then for the term handrail, they are basically two different design. You can see, look at my hand here. This is the handrail that is attached with the balustrade. This is the handrail that is attached with the handrail bracket. This is known as handrail bracket. This is handrail bracket attached to the brick wall. Okay, and this is the design where you don't see any handrail bracket because the handrail is only at the one side. Where you have the staircase that is covered with both sides, covered with the brick wall, normally one side must be installed with the handrail, where this handrail is installed with the handrail bracket. Okay, if you have this kind of design, normally we don't have any balustrade. That it is actually not required to have the balustrade. At least this one can be the design to refrain people from falling down, and actually to give the stability of the staircase as well. Okay, so they are basically three main design. You can see there are various of the design, especially when they are spiral, curvature design, and so on. So the support is more. And then I also would like to highlight here the term isolated baluster. You will see the word isolated baluster where the baluster is different from others, and then the way they install is normally directly on the floor here, either on the floor or directly in the concrete staircase, where the material is made maybe from timber or maybe from steel. You need to have the base plate. This is known as plate. P-L-A-T. The word plate is actually steel plate, either in rectangular or either in square. Okay, that is where you need to screw down inside the staircase area or inside the slab area. Look at this, you have to screw down. This information is not going to be measured separately, but need to be stated. How the baluster is being installed required to be stated in the description. Okay, you can go through all this terminology as the recap. So now we look at the clause and the rule of measurement. Sorry. Okay, if you look at the rule of measurement, sorry, let me lock. If you look at the rule of measurement, they are basically two main items that I would like to highlight here. The first one under section P. What is section P? Revan, can you check section P? What is section P? Jasper, what is section P? And Chia Chanyan, can you check what is section M? What is the difference? Section P is what? What is section P? Chia Chanyan? Fu Junsheng, what is section P? PPP. Section P is metal work. So metal is a big family. Under metal, we can see that there are maybe steel, you can see maybe brass, stainless steel, and so on. So generally under section P, you can refer for the metal handrailing and balustrading. The detail you have to state later. Okay, under section M, this is focused on the woodwork, that is timber. So basically, before you start, you have to identify whether your handrail is made from metal or timber, or maybe we have the combination of A and B. This is what available in your studio drawing. You have the combination of A and B, or this is A, this is B. Why? Because your drawing have timber handrailing, but the balustrade are all made from metal or steel. Okay, this is the information that you can zoom in. 40 times 40 mm times 4. 4 is the thickness of mild steel section. So mild steel is under section P. Okay, and then for the timber, this is the cross section. The cross section is given as 80 times 150. So the design is like this. This is 80 mm. The vertical is 150 mm. Okay. What I would like you to take note here as well is not only because of material, because you have to measure the painting as well. That means once we have different material for the steel required different kind of painting. Handrail or timber required different kind of painting. So that one must be clearly shown, must be clearly identified. Look at the example for timber handrailing. If you have timber handrailing, you have to measure in meter according to M.13.1 G. Look at the word handrail. This is actually the last subclause. G is the last subclause. You have to read the specification. Okay, Cengal is grade A timber in Malaysia. Okay, like oak in international oak also has their own category. Okay, that is also one of the famous timber. So you can put this one as the main heading because this is the general kind and quality. You refer back to section M. In general, we have to write kind and quality and the size. So the cross section must be written. This is only example 50 by 100 mm handrail. Okay, the word rounded top edge. The word rounded means the design is like this. This is rounded. Okay, so if the design is not having the rounded top edge, do not write down. I have the student like in the previous semester, they copy this description but they didn't check the detail. If your detail doesn't have the rounded top edge, then you don't have to write down. Just write down 50 to 100 mm handrail. Okay, groove at the bottom to receive master core plate. What is the core plate? Okay, the core plate is only available where you have, let's say this is your handrail, and then the core plate is required where you have different material. Okay, and you have to put the hole so that the steel can be installed directly below this. Okay, the multi-core plate is available only when the steel or different material used as at the bottom of your timber structure or timber connection. How to measure? You can measure the length of the handrail in the layout plan, plus from the layout plan and also from the section. So if you refer to this one, you can take the dimension from the cross section. This one, you can scale and then total up. Don't forget at the 200 here. This is also having the handrail. This one also having the handrail. Look at this. This is at the, first floor slab, that is also having the length of the handrail. Okay, this one you must ensure that you have to measure in slope. You cannot measure on plan. If you measure on plan, the length is wrong. So that is how you measure the handrail. Okay, the second example is the example where the material is made from metal. This is where you have to refer to section P. I give you example here, ABC stainless steel. Always remember, you have to understand the material. Okay, stainless steel does not require to have any painting. Stainless steel is something like shiny. I have also experienced last semester, I give the specification stainless steel. Then when I ask my student to measure, they measure painting. So no item for painting if you use a material that is made from stainless steel. Okay, what needs to be stated? This one, you can refer to P.5. You can refer to P.5. Okay, under P.5, the information state that you have to write down the size, the cross section, the thickness. So this is the detail that you actually can copy. For example, 100 mm diameter. In the steel structure, you can always see this design. You can always see this symbol. CHS. What is CHS? Circular hollow section. SHS. Square hollow section. RHS. Rectangular hollow section. So this one is the short form that the student need to know. The QS actually need to know. Okay, the short form for the terminology. Okay, and then the other part, most important, is how to install, either by welding or either by cold plate or either by inserting. That is the method of construction. Okay, so look at this example. Woodwork, how to write down the description. How to install welded with 80 mm diameter isolated baluster. This is the example if your handrail is made from stainless steel and then vertically you have the baluster. Okay, and then if you have another method, then you have to write down how the handrail is being welded, either connected with the horizontal baluster or maybe connected with the vertical baluster, and so on. The word MS is referring to the measured separately, where you cannot measure this one together, even though you put here welded to isolated baluster, but this isolated baluster must be measured separately. The key point under section P is every single item must be measured separately. For example, if we have vertical baluster, if we have horizontal baluster, all of that must be measured separately. Vertical, horizontal must be measured separately in meter. So you only have to scale. This is the example on the other design and rail. Okay, Xiaowei, any question? This is another design that you can see in another drawing. Okay, I also give you one more example for the description for the mastic-core plate. Okay, mastic-core plate, remember, only available where you have the different material underneath. For example, this is the handrail that is made from timber, but your balustrade are made from metal. So you need to have the mastic-core plate. This is under P.5 as well. Okay, as what I did mention just now for the metal handrailing description, how to install, what is the size. This is another size, 75 times 38. You have a lot of sizes different. You have to check the detail. Okay, this is what I did mention. Measure the length from the layout plan plus the slope length, and then you have to check if there are handrail available at the first floor area. Okay, I also give you some overview on how the design of the CHS looks like. SHS, or maybe you can see variety design here. Okay, this is RHS. Hollow section, normally used for the architectural purposes. And then you can see here example for the mastic bracket, if only the handrail is fixed to the wall. If not, you don't have to. Okay, isolated baluster, this is under P.5.6. This is a bit longer because you have to measure in number. How you identify the isolated baluster? Isolated baluster is different from vertical baluster. Okay, something that is different from others that is normally installed directly to the concrete staircase. You can see the example here, the size, and then how the installation is. One end, look at this. One end is welded to the handrail, another end is welded to the base plate. So this is the base plate, this is the connection to the handrail. Okay, this is another example of the description, just to highlight the term base plate underneath, the installation method, and then this is the next item, where you finish all the isolated baluster, vertical baluster, you have to measure for painting. How you want to measure the painting? You have to check on the girth for the surfaces. Less than 300 mm, measure in meter. More than 300 mm, you have to measure in meter square. Okay, this is also to recap the type of this painting for the handrailing and balustrading. You can check some of the brand available, oil base, enamel base, emulsion paint, and so on, and look at which one is suitable with the material used. Then you can see the example. I give you one example here for the painting to handrail that is using aluminium wood primer and alkyd based resin. Please go back to your example of the painting that you have. Then you can put that one is part of your put that one is your in your specification. This is another example, but this is metallic primer. This metallic primer, in case the handrail is made from metal, so you can use this one as a guideline. If you have any metal handrailing or metal balustrading, use this one as a guideline of your description. How to measure? You can take the quantity from handrail. Okay, if the unit is similar, then you can take quantity. If not, you have to take the length times the girth. Okay, if the girth is more than 300 mm, you have to measure times the girth. Okay, this is another example, and this is what you can see in your construction drawing. Okay, so this one will be covered in your studio number 3 next time. So that will be the end of the discussion for handrail and balustrading. Second part of our discussion for today.